A lot of people question, why get a small CNC for a little woodworking shop? Well, here's a perfect example. I subsidize this channel by working art markets, and I've just now started selling a bunch of stuff online. And I just finished up making a bunch of these French squares that I'm going to be mailing out tomorrow. Now, one of my weaknesses as a kind of merchandiser in the art markets in here has always been packaging. It's embarrassing that, you know, sometimes I will sell a $250, $300 bowl, and yes, I will wrap it up in plastic, I'll put bubble wrap on it, but it's basically here. So they just bought this nice, expensive bowl, and I'm just handing it to walk away. Whereas other marketers, you know, in a lot of these high-end art markets, somebody buys even a little $5 item, they got these nice little plastic bags, all these kind of stuff. You know, in the back of my mind, I was always thinking, well, there went all your profit margins on a little item. But I'm not selling these little items. I'm selling stuff that people are spending good money on. And my packaging sucks. Well, I'm about to start wrapping all these up, and I like to just add a little bling to them. So, Inventables, they sent me out a little complimentary book. This is from Zach Kaplan, the founder, and basically it's just kind of an assembly of a bunch of little projects. And in it, one of the projects, and one of the most common things people do with these kinds of devices, is make little stamps. So today, I thought I'd just make a quick little stamps. I did get a little piece of particle board where they laminated some linoleum on the top to make the stamp with, and this was literally $1. And then a little stamp kit from them, I think $5 or $6. And I'll make something that I can use for years in my packaging. So follow along and let's make a quick stamp today. Now a stamp is basically just line art, solid colors, and I'm trained in Illustrator, so I basically create all my stuff in Illustrator. You can create this kind of stuff in Easel, but it's kind of like stepping backwards once you understand the higher end programs. So what I just simply did was I opened up my standard logo, I copy pasted it into a new file that was the size of the stamp I wanted to do, and then just resized everything to make sure it all fit. And then here's a key thing. I resaved it, but I saved it as a SVG file. That is something that Easel will open up very easily. Once in Easel, just reset the sizing for whatever I wanted it to be. And then I imported that SVG file, and it comes up as vector artwork. And what's nice about that, it's going to be very crisp lines. Then it's just a matter of placing it wherever you want on your device. I selected it, and Easel has, for some very basic operations, created some apps. And one of them is a stamp maker, where it will take your vector artwork, flip it, turn the letters white so that they won't be cut out, and then recess the background. So when you actually do cut it on the CNC machine, it is just going to cut out the background and leave the letters raised. Now I will say this, Easel does put this black border around the edge. I went ahead and deleted that one because that would basically cut out the piece, and I'm just going to do that on a bandsaw. The last step was to tell Easel the tools I'm using and what material it's going to be cutting, so it can make all the paths for you. Easel is kind of nice like that, and it automates a lot of stuff, other programs you have to do yourself. So with the file developed on my main computer, I just come out to my workshop on a really inexpensive 7-8-year-old laptop, and I'll get that running the actual program on the CNC machine. A few wedges will get everything locked in place so it's not going to move. Now I'm putting in a 1/16 inch bit in this one just because it'll get the details, and I'm not too concerned. It'll take a lot longer than doing 2 rough passes, but yeah, just getting it done. Now you've seen people walk through the carving wizard probably a couple times if you're doing this with Inventables. I will say that I did set this to basically 5/64 cut depth versus what they had on the standard little application, just a little bit deeper, just because I plan on stamping softer stuff, so I didn't want it to compress and hit the base. So Right now I'm just setting up the depth to get this thing started, and then we'll get going. While that thing's working, I'm gonna go make me some soup. So a little ways into the cut, I realized that it wasn't as detailed as I like, so I'm going to swap out bits to a finer bit and go from there. Print's over. Let's see how he did. Doesn't look too bad. So I ended up making a third one. The first one, remember, the bit was too big, so the details weren't there. The second one, maybe linoleum isn't the best thing to make a stamp out of, but oh well. I say that because the fine details, they kind of flake off. So I made one third one a tad bit bigger. Hopefully it'll be a little bit stronger. So let's see how it works out. Well, my wrapping skills are still horrible, but it's something, and for its intended purpose, I think the little stamp will work out just fine. And I spent a little bit more than my lunch hour working on it, even making the multiple versions. It's not that big a deal. One of the advantages of having a CNC, you got a little wild whim, just go try it out. Worst case scenario, you wasted $1 worth of material. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like, favorite, subscribe, do all those social media. Visit my website, wortheffort.com, for tools like I'm wrapping up here. And I want you to remember one last thing, that it is always worth the effort to learn, create, and share with others. Y'all be safe and have fun.